to Heaven. And I said, what, like Free Bird, da-da-da-da-da-da? No, that's Blackbird. That was a Beatles song. And, oh, little free bird, come. No, that's Snowbird. So I didn't know Free Bird, and I still haven't heard it to this day. But I'm sure I have. But I'm sure I have because it's one of those things they play on FM. And I'm sure I've heard it, but I've never put it together.
Yeah.
Well, this is all leading. You think I'm talking about myself, but I'm not. This is leading up to Dick because I told him this story at the Palomino that night, and I said, "Do you know Freebird? Is this the? You know, it's a very popular song apparently, but I don't happen to know it. Do you know Freebird?"
Kidding.
Okay, but I said, you know, it's second only to Stairway to Heaven. Have you heard Stairway to Heaven?
No.
Do you have any idea what it sounds like? Do you know who does it?
No.
Okay, now you're going to tell us about the history of rock and roll? Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, what you don't have here is, and it's very important, is Hillbilly Boogie. Left that out, which is a precursor of rockabilly, okay?
Oh, no!
Hillbilly Boogie,
How could you
okay?
leave that out,
I don't know
man?
why you didn't put that in. That's Moon Mullican, that's the Delmore Brothers,
You have
that's
your
all
own
that
column,
stuff.
by the way.
Yeah, I'm digging that. So you're right.
Okay.
Shabbat. Okay, after Hillbilly Boogie, let me see. You got R&B. Well, of course, R&B. Okay, single artist stuff. And wait a minute. How about Chicago Blues? Let's put those in. You don't like it. Okay,
Oh,
but I
God.
do. So in they go. Chicago Blues. Okay.
You know I'm no big fan of Chicago blues.
Chicago Blues. And now we're down around up until the 60s. Also, Louisiana R&B. Louisiana,
Yeah.
Tex R&B, and
For example, who would those people be?
see, Silas Hogan, Slim Harpo. Slim Harpo's good. Okay, I can't go too
Huey
esoteric,
Piano Smith
right?
and the Clowns.
Huey Piano Smith and the Clowns. You know, hey, and rock and roll, Louisiana rock and roll, starting up here. New Orleans. What about New Orleans rock and roll?
Yeah.
With,
But it fits in with all
Larry Williams and all that
It
stuff.
fits in with all
what?
the great stuff of
Okay.
55, 60,
Oh, it's just
70.
like great stuff.
Okay, great stuff.
Fine. Now, another thing that you didn't say around here, 62, 63, had Spectre, but we also have Huey Moe doing Swamp Pop. Very important for people who live in Winnie, Texas. Huey Moe. Very important, right? Huey Moe. Now, then, well, okay, so we got that in 62, 63, and what else do we have? I don't want to steal your thunder, but do we have surf music? Where are the surf instrumentals?
Well, I don't care about that.
Surf instrumentals could derive out of rockabilly, starting from Hillbilly Boogie. Put reverb on them, go through rockabilly, and you get surf instrumentals. So
Okay.
you have to put
Got you covered, baby.
all right?
Okay.
Surf instros. And, of course, surf instros also, during the time of the Blasters and et cetera, were making inroads with John Blair and the Night Riders and all those retro surf bands
In the
coming back,
70s,
too.
70s.
In the 70s and the 80s, too, in the early 80s, right? So we'll just put, you know, retro. Retro
So that
surf.
fits under my Blasters heading, so yeah,
But you're not interested in surf music.
that's right.
Okay. And then, of course, but I'm not going to take up any time and say that Gene Esquivel was rock and roll, okay? I won't do that, nor Martin Denny, nor any of that stuff, nor any of that smooth groove stuff. That's something for something else, okay?
Okay, well.
So that's it. So I'll relinquish.
Nobody's
All
going
right.
to 1990, I see.
Yeah, nothing.
Don't worry about that, man. I got 1990 covered.
You got it covered? Good.
I got it covered.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if there's just
All right,
something
Dominic, why don't you
else
come
in-
up and
Okay,
take
go.
Dick's spot up there?
My turn, eh?
I mean, you know, as we do this, like, well, I know what Paul's going to...
Paul's going to have some.
Yeah, well, everybody's going to take everything, man.
Okay, just take it away. Read it out.
Oh, okay. I'm supposed to take it away without no introduction.
Dominic Priori, expert.
Take it away.
Thank you. Okay, Dick says everything I need to say for this 50s period, and since Art and Dick can represent that best enough, I think I'll just go right to 1963.
Start at the top, so you can get lots of room.
Why start at the top? You guys already did that.
Start at the top.
Start 60s at the top, so you'll have room to go.
All right. Okay, we'll go to 61 then. That's where you have the Rendezvous Ballroom. Rendezvous.
Yeah. Put a Z there, but don't go too far. You'll be in Paul's space.
Well, you guys
need
are going to
that
talk so
space.
much, I'm not going to have much of a space.
The Rendezvous Ballroom in Balboa is where Dick Dale played, and that's where Leo Fender brought the reverb unit down to. He just built this Fender reverb unit for Dick Dale and the other artists that were on the bill that night, the Rhythm Rockers and some unknown band, and they all used the reverb unit that night, and that's really when you have Dick Dale, surf music, reverb. Therefore, from there on, you have the Crossfires, who sold out and became the Turtles.
Well, are they
And-
that important?
Yeah, because they were...
Put an eye in there. Better put an eye in there, baby.
Oh, Crossfires. Sorry. And by the way, this is the time when the Beach Boys came in, too.
Yeah.
But the most important band of this whole period was definitely the Surfaris, of course.
Yeah.
The Surfaris, and of course, in the Midwest, you had the Astronauts and the Trashmen. So, 61 to 63. And then you guys totally forgot about, okay, well, not really totally, but we have girl group genre.
Yeah.
Everybody who says the best songwriters of the 60s were John Lennon and Paul McCartney mostly. Everybody always would think, oh, yeah, John Lennon and Paul McCartney, but you have Goffin and King. Can't leave that out.
Can't leave that out. No.
Not to mention Leslie Gore and Darren White and all them people who wrote songs for her. And you can't leave that stuff out. Now, what is this 1964 Motown? What about 63? Oh, yeah, by the way, that is 63, too. 63 and 64 would be the record From Me to You, which debuted on KRLA in 1963.
That's right, baby.
That's right.
I heard it.
Who's that
Well,
by?
so did I.
Was that Del Shannon?
No, it was
From Me to You, yeah, Dale Shannon did a version of it, but the Beatles actually had a version. I think it was on
turned it off.
Tolly or something, and they made a few good records after that. Anyways, there was one called the Satanic Majesty's Request or something that they did. Anyways, that's when they stopped. See, that's sort of right around after this period, this gray area. Speaking of this gray area, that is when you have like the Cowsills, who was the only band that mattered during that great area. Cowsills.
Can you name them all?
Susan.
Name two of them. Three of them.
Susan's all that matters. She's the cute little one who dances with go-go
Is
boots.
he still cute and little?
I don't know. She's
Okay.
around. The Cowsills are playing now. They actually have their career revived, and they're doing pretty good. Okay, but we don't want to forget anything between 65 is when all hell broke loose, and you had the Pretty Things.
All hell broke loose with the pretty things.
That's right.
Name me two pretty things.
Phil May and Dick Taylor.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Anyways,
What instrument did Phil May play?
what?
What instrument did he play?
He was a singer.
Uh-huh.
I know you're going to say the Rolling Stones later, but I mean, the Pretty Things were just totally wilder than the Rolling Stones, right?
Get out of here. Get out of here.
And of course, with the Pretty Things, you also have the Downliner Sect.
Whoa. What about the Undertaker?
Anyways,
Anything happening in America around that time?
yeah, as a matter of fact, there was stuff happening in America. In 1965, you had the Charlatans, who were the great legendary all-time San Francisco band that everybody remembers today at stadium concerts. And when they all, go out and dance to the Charlatans, I think.
Yeah, and don't forget all the charlatan knockoff bands, the charlatan tribute.
Well, the
bands.
Charlatan knockoff bands like the Warlocks and the Great Society, and so on and so forth, and also the Beethovens, yeah. Anyways, yeah, that kind of happened in '65. They started taking drugs though, and so that's why we have this gray area. And 1970 was like,
Forgot the birds.
well, the Charlatans were sort of like birds. Okay, fine. In other words, good folk rock stuff started coming out then. Okay, 1970, nothing happened because it was that gray area when the only thing that happened was the Cowsills, but sort of they gave birth to Creedence, right?
Wait a minute. Go. I
Yeah,
would like to see that.
Creedence Clearwater Revival, and I know Art likes the Guess Who, but like Creedence Clearwater Revival was the only thing that really mattered then.
Yeah.
We still listen to those. We don't listen to Guess Who. If we do, we sort of break them over our knee because they're really bland if you listen to most of their records. Share the Land, give me a break. Okay, now I'm sorry, I know Burton Cummings was on your show, but he's a great guy, but
Great singer.
he fell asleep like right around here.
Yeah.
In '69, he was still good. And by the way, they made a great record back here.
Who's that?
The Guess Who?
Shakin' All Over.
Was Shaking All Over.
Uh-huh.
Which was a Johnny Kidd and the Pirates song.
And what happened to Johnny Kidd?
I don't know. I'm not too interested in English rock.
All right.
Anyways,
He had a patch on his eye.
that's true.
And
All
I
right,
guess he
so
couldn't see, he
then that's it. There's nothing happening here. '72. What happened? Think Us a Brick by Jethro Tull.